All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. I see we have a pretty good group of people online. Afterwards, there will be an opportunity to ask questions. You can either type them in or you can, I can unmute you and you can talk. If you have something you want to say during the meeting, there's a way to raise your hand down at the bottom of your control panel and to ask a question, and I'll try to pay attention and try and stop along the way. And that's not it. Where is my, whoops. Oh, isn't that nice? Well. Oh, I see why. We're all taking a few minutes to get to know each other while I'm letting my file download. Just as a way of introduction, it's just going to take a minute for it to download. My name is Mike Devlin. I'm with Keller Williams, Silicon Valley Realty, and I wanted to put together this sort of an introductory workshop to develop a plan for social media marketing for 2012. Oh boy. Pastor, 50 seconds. We can watch it count down. And why don't I do this while we're waiting? For those of you that are online, what I'm going to do is, where is it? For those of you that are online, back. This is hard to do. Does that say get link to file? Send. All right, there we go. Control C, close, go to webinar over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm pasting in the chat a link. You should see, I can't really see what's over on that side, but it should be a link to the handout for today's class. Otherwise, you're going to have to ask me for it. More closing in social media. What I wanted to concentrate on today was Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. LinkedIn is big, it's huge, and it's for business. The reason why I'm not covering that now is that in order to really get anything out of LinkedIn, you have to buy the paid system, the professional system. There's a lot of limits on the free one. And knowing real estate agents as I do, the idea of buying the paid system sort of bothers people. So I'm going to save that for something else. But Facebook, Twitter, and Google+, Google Plus is relatively new. We're going to take a little bit a look at that. But looking at Facebook, more than 50% of all the users log on daily. The average user has 130 friends. There are 200 billion posts linked and commented on per day. One of the things that happened in early of 2011 is that Facebook was responsible for more clicks to websites than Google search. Maybe I should say that again. More people were going to websites as a result of links they saw on Facebook than were going to websites by searching on Google. That's for, just in case you're wondering whether or not you need to have a presence, 200 billion posts. The average user is connected to 80 different community pages, groups, and events. Twitter is 121 million. We'll talk more about that. There's a billion tweets every day. 460 new accounts are created. I'm going to spend a little more time on specifics with Twitter because my experience has been that's the one that most real estate agents have no idea what to do with or what's going on or how or why. Most people are already on Facebook. Google Plus is relatively new. Just because it's Google doesn't mean it's going to last. Google Buzz, Google Wave are examples of Google things that didn't make it. Google has a lot of very successful products and some very unsuccessful ones. The jury's out on Google Plus, but there's things about Google Plus that you need to understand that are important, even if you're not really using Google Plus consistently. Activity on Facebook, more than 900 million objects that people interact with, pages, groups, events, and community pages. 80 community pages is the average, 250 million photos every day. People install more than 20 million apps every day. Now, it's true that a lot of those are games and gift apps and things like that, but more than 500 million people use an app. 7 million apps and websites are integrated with Facebook. Do you have a website? And does your Facebook page integrate with your website? Do you have one of the boxes that shows your Facebook posts and the people that are fans of your Facebook page? Do you have a like button on your Facebook, on your website? Do you have share when you do a post? If you have a blog, do you have links at the bottom that say that they can share it on Facebook or like it on Facebook or recommend it on Facebook? If you don't, you're missing a lot of opportunities. And more than 350 million active users currently access Facebook through mobile devices. If you don't have a smartphone, you probably need to get one. Right, and because it's very difficult to use Facebook and, for that matter, Twitter and even Google Plus and get the most out of it unless you're able to do things on the fly, which means mobile. By the way, another thing to consider when we're going to talk about email and the way in which real estate agents communicate, how many of your customers and clients are reading your communications on a handheld device, on a cell phone? As opposed to reading your communications on a big desktop PC. The vast majority of younger people are using phones to read email. If you're doing email marketing, how is your email formatted? Is it formatted to fit on a cell phone, or are you using big HTML templates with logos and pictures of homes in the background that don't go through a mobile phone? So we're going to talk a little bit about that. I hope you don't mind that I'm going to go a little fast. But Google Plus versus Facebook, those are the two big giants. Twitter's got their own little niche, but I'm going to talk a little bit about them. This is just some information on the demographics, but Google Plus skews towards the 18 to 34-year-olds. And the other thing about Google Plus that's good to note is 32% of the people using it have a household income of more than $100,000. as opposed to only 23% of Facebook searchers. Now, what we're really talking about, and we're going to go through some of the theory of what you're doing in social media, because a lot of times when I talk to real estate agents about social media, they don't seem to have really a plan. One of the things we're talking about is branding. Branding is not your logo. It's not your company name. And I know this will come as a surprise. It's not your picture, right? Because isn't that, usually it's a picture of the agent standing in front of a for sale sign, jumping oftentimes up in the air in front of the sign, holding a trophy, right, while they're jumping in the air. Branding is what people say about you once you've left the room. It's what people think about you. And when we're talking about social media, we're talking about having an opportunity to promote or to communicate your brand. It's also about building relationships. You know, when people talk about social media versus traditional marketing, in traditional real estate, it's about leads and it's about converting the lead into a client. That is our goal, but in social media, what we're talking about is conversations. And the lead is the beginning of conversation with somebody, and converting means to continue that conversation. And it's also to bring about top of the mind awareness. Real estate agents are getting deals from Google Plus, from Twitter, from Facebook, either from interacting with past customers and clients, their sphere of influence, or getting recommendations. Community involvement and an opportunity to contribute. People that are doing things that are beneficial to the community and contributing are more likely to do better on social media. We all have a circle of influence and a circle of concern. What we're really talking about here, if you've been around in real estate a long time and you've ever taken a real estate marketing class, they always start with your center of influence, your sphere of influence. We're really talking about the same thing, only on steroids. And you need to look at those people the same way you would look at people that are in your sphere of influence. This is not a silver bullet type of a solution, but simply another tool that you would use in reaching potential customers and clients. In other words, you still ought to have a newsletter, you still ought to send postcards, you still ought to make phone calls, you still ought to do email, you still ought to be involved in community events, you ought to talk to people face to face, but this is something that ought to be part of your plan. People do not want to be sold, they want to interact and be heard. You can't control the conversation, but you can participate in it. The best metaphor for working social media is to think of a holiday party, right? Let's say some friends invite you to a party and you show up wearing your company clothes, right? You've got your name badge, you've got your business cards in one pocket, you've got flyers for a property in one of your pockets, you've got personal brochures, and you walk up and you see a group of people sitting around eating, hors d'oeuvres and drinking, and they're talking about football. And you nudge into the conversation, you say, "Hi, my name's Mike, I'm in real estate. Do you know anybody who's looking to buy a fixer-upper? I just listed this beautiful home in Blossom." You understand? And then you go to the next group, and they're talking about gardening, and you start handing out your, you understand you're not going to be invited to any more parties, right? And yet that's the method that many real estate agents take when they go to social media. And people don't, and the difference between social media and the real party, it's harder for them to drag you out of that Christmas party. It's really easy for them to make you disappear from a social media. It's one in many broadcast marketing. The goal of this is to meet people one-on-one. You can't sell a house over Facebook yet, right? I've had agents say, "Well, you can do digital, and the idea is to get them to come into the office or to make an appointment with you. And the 3 R's, you have to be relevant, real, and responsive. I'm going to talk a little more about what that means, and that's the goal, is to develop a relationship. In general, there are 5 strategies. You need to be active. Now, by active, that does not simply mean that you post. It means that you interact. One of the things I'm going to talk about as a general rule of thumb on Facebook is that for every post you make, you should have a minimum of 3 to 10 comments or interactions on other people's posts. This, I know, is counterintuitive to many real estate agents, right? Because the idea is to push the message and push the message and push the message, but if you don't interact with people, they're not going to listen to you. You have to be interesting, and I'm going to talk about some ways to do that. Once I'm through with the slides, we're going to go online, and I'm going to show you some of the tools that you can use, and we're going to log into Facebook and do some things like that. You need to have interesting content to share, and I'll talk about how to do that. You should be humble. I am the top-selling, hardest working, smartest, most modest real estate agent, right? Those kinds of things that sometimes I hear real estate agents saying on listing presentations and in marketing material should not be there. Be unprofessional. That doesn't mean you have to be crass. You shouldn't talk about religion, politics, sex, and just like the normal things, but they don't want to just hear about real estate. You understand? Think of the party. You have to do, if you ask somebody, "What do you do for a living?" and they say, "Well, I'm an auto mechanic," and you talk about that, what are they going to do eventually? They're going to ask you, "What do you do?" Right? And so the idea is not to be a completely professional face. And to be honest, this is, so I know that telling people to be themselves is sometimes bad advice, but the idea is to try and project your genuine self. The real estate industry and social media. 79% of 84% of real estate agents say they're using social media. 79% Facebook, 48% Twitter, and then notice it drops out. This was done before Google Plus really got started. These next few slides come from the recently released California Association of Realtors survey of home buyers and sellers for 2011. And some facts that they had about buyers: 59% of their found their agent online, 51% Googled their agent. One of the reasons we're going to talk about Google Plus is because when it gives you the opportunity to control your Google profile, which is what Google will default to if somebody Googles your name. If you Google your name, what do you see? And you want to have some ability to control that. 52% of the buyers said they use social media in the home buying process. 93% said they want to get information through social media. Notice those numbers are much higher than the ones of real estate agents using it. How did you use social media? This is for buyers such as Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, etc. in your home buying process. 33% for finding an agent. 26% video tours, 24% looked at agent Facebook pages. Do you have a Facebook page, and what does it look like? Home buying tips, comments on the neighborhood styles. Those are just some of the things that if you're having a Facebook page, you'd want to have maybe home buying tips, comments on neighborhoods, lifestyle things, and videos. About sellers, 66% of the sellers surveyed in 2011 said they found their real estate agent online. 77% said they use social media in the selling process. And these are, I can't believe that MySpace is still there, but it's still there. This is something that I found very interesting. They asked buyers and sellers how they wanted to communicate with the agent. Now, preferred is what they said, actual is what they got. 37% said they wanted to get phone calls, but that's what half of the agents did. Text message is what 32% said they wanted, only 1% did that. Again, we're back to, do you have a smartphone? And are you good at sending text messages? 21% said they wanted Twitter, direct messaging, I would assume, or Facebook messaging, and none of the agents in the survey actually did that. I've had people that I've worked with, that I've hired, that from beginning to end, all communication was done through Facebook messaging. There was never an email. In colleges today, if you go to a college, they're not giving the students each other's email because email is passé. It's so 90s, right? I'm just telling you, it's 90s. They don't give people, they give people their Facebook account. I've already had people do this a number of times where they say, well, this is my name, I'm on Facebook. Just send me a message, right? And you can see that most agents, and in person, they don't want to see us. Isn't that what they're? Only 6% wanted to actually see us. We're very sensitive, aren't we? So do you understand Twitter and Facebook? Now, do you understand if you're dealing with first-time home buyers, we're in Silicon Valley. Like, I've sold homes to people that worked at Google. They did not want phone calls, right? That was not their thing. The idea of a fax machine, that just, they don't understand. You don't want to say, here's my fax, I'll fax it to you, right? You understand? They'll think you're just not their kind of person, right? So you need to be able to use Twitter and Facebook messaging if for no other reason. That's how your clients want to communicate. Sellers, the communication gap. What was your preferred method, and what was the actual method? In person, 3%, again, they didn't want to see it. Facebook was the preferred, I'm trying to figure out which one. Actual, so more agents were using Facebook for sellers. Telephone was, am I missing someone here? Let's look at email. The biggest difference that I see is text message. You see, that's the second group of bars from the right. 64% said they would prefer text messaging. 1% of the agents used it. Instant messaging, 26% said they wanted it. Nobody used it. 8% said they wanted telephones, and 47% used it. We're old school, you call them. right? You know, I'm just going to call them and talk to them. They want text messages, right? I'm just saying. Time spent on Facebook, that's sort of a gratuitous graphic. Homepage and news feed is where 27% of the time is spent. Profiles, photos, apps and tools, and all other is 25%. That 25% would include pages of companies, and I'll talk about that. How often should you post? According to surveys that have been done on how many times people post and how many likes they get, just so we're clear, when you post something, the goal is to get people to do one of three things: to like it, to share it, or to comment, right? That's the goal. So what they do is they look at people and they look at how often do they post and how many times do people like their posts. And they've noticed at the very top where you get the most likes is when you're posting every other day. Now, we're talking about clients here, right? We're talking about marketing posts. When we get into Facebook, there's what you're doing with your family and friends, and that interactive action may be quite different. But you need to be able to screen. In other words, if you're sending all your potential clients 8 or 9 things a day on Facebook, they're probably not seeing them anymore because they blocked you, right? Or they've made you become invisible. You want it for clients and prospects, not family and real friends. Clients and prospects, a post every other day is what the survey. When are most people reading their Facebook at noon? Why? Many businesses block access to social networks while they're working. So on their they're doing it on their smartphones, and they're doing it at lunchtime or when the boss isn't looking. And what day is the best day? Saturday. One of the things that they've found, this has to do with the metrics. The one in the top right is probably the most useful, that there's a huge surge on the weekend of business to consumer interaction on Facebook. And what's interesting is that if you look at when people are actually posting, most businesses post during the week, Monday through Friday, 9 to 5, but most people are reading are on it on the weekend, and that's where the readership is much higher. Isn't this fun? Google Plus. What is it? It's a new social networking service from Google. It enables sharing, status updates, photos, and links. You can share it with different groups of people. How about this as an idea? Let's say you don't have a blog because you don't really know what to do with a blog, but you'd kind of like to have a blog. This could be your blog, right? And when I get to it, you can see how you could use Google Plus as a blog. The features that Google Plus has are circles, hangouts, sparks, and huddles. Doesn't that sounds fun, doesn't it? The features of Google Plus, circles, and I'm gonna log into my Google Plus page, and I'm going to show you a little bit about how that works. But if this had been in existence before Facebook, there might not be a Facebook. Right, because it's a lot easier to use. It's more user-friendly. They've generated a lot. And the idea of circles in Facebook, we have friend lists. Now, I'm going to talk about that when we get to Facebook. That would be, by the way, the #1 tip for using Facebook is to create friend lists. And I'll show you how you can do that. And according to Facebook, 95% of users do not have friend lists. And under the new system, Facebook is sort of making lists for you. But that's because nobody would do it on their own. Less than 5% of the people using Facebook had created friends lists. But Google Plus is arranged around circles. Examples might be past clients, potential buyers, potential sellers, other real estate agents, affiliates, people in the industry that you might want to collect information from that might have updates and market information and selling tips and marketing tips and things like that. So circles is where your friends are categorized. And they start with the categories of friends, family, followings, acquaintances, etc., but you can build your own. You can categorize clients. This is the real estate tip using this feature. Past clients, they're obvious ones. If you had a regular database, what categories would you put people in? Hangouts. Video chats. Facebook started this with a program called Skype, where people can talk to each other and Skype with each other. I've had Skype for many years. Most people do not have Skype, and they don't know what it is or how to use it. But you can create a video chat on Google Plus for up to 10 people pretty much instantly, and you can share things, links back and forth. Now, when I say this, sometimes real estate agents roll their eyes, and I'm glad no one has anything to throw, but even listing presentations. Now, I know that people are going to say, well, no, I want to be there, and I want to be in their face, and I want to see them. But do you realize that as a pre-listing presentation, there are, in Silicon Valley, some people that would like to use the internet first? I'm just saying. Right, you understand? That may not be our preference, but it might be theirs. A little home buying seminar, home selling seminar, short sales seminar. You can do this on Google Plus. Yes, Diane? Yes, you can make YouTube videos and play them. You can. The question was for those online. Can you record it ahead and play it? Yeah, you can make videos and play them. You can post videos. Right, the whole video thing is another class. Real estate agents can share video tours with clients, see their reactions, and immediately address questions the clients have. That you can watch tours of listings while you're all looking at each other. How many people have devices that have cameras on them? Most people do, right? Smartphones, laptops. That's a cool thing. Sparks, it allows users to get information about content they are interested in. It's like a search engine. I'm going to talk a little bit more about that, but one of the things you need to do to be effective in social media is have something to share. And in order to have something to share, you have to have like nets that are out there scooping information that would be relevant to your consumers that just comes to you every day that you don't have to actively go out and look for. And so you can create this. Really, you can track industry news using this feature so that when you log in, stuff for you to post on Facebook, stuff to post on Twitter, stuff to post on Google+, things to put on your blog, things to talk to your clients about, just show up every day. Huddle. This is a group testing feature. You can send text to groups of people. It allows agents to communicate with certain groups on the go. It's possible to communicate with just one client. You can use Google Plus to post something to just one person, a group of people, a circle of people, a list of people. That's one of the cool things. All right. And again, when we're done, I'm going to log in and we're going to look at some of these things. Facebook. I'm going to show you I saw in the news today in my net. It said today, and I posted it on Facebook, a video that came from some news show about a Facebook video that they made, that they're officially today going to the timeline, right? And which is the new profile. I've had mine activated for a few months, but those who have been against it, I'm sorry, it's pretty much rolling out today. Now, Facebook changes stuff. I know a real estate agent, and she was asking me a question, and I said, well, I posted an article about that on Facebook, and she said, I don't use Facebook anymore. I don't like the changes they made, right? Well, gee, I know we're very sensitive, right? The only thing we hate more than change is the way things are. Isn't that right? But it's a free service, and literally her point was they should have asked me, right? Zuckerberg should have called her and said, is it okay? And you know why they didn't ask anybody? Because they would have said no, right? That's why they didn't ask anybody. So you have to live with it. You're going to need to upload a cover photo. I'll show you an example. Add important life events. We're going to go through the timeline. Check out your activity log. You can get rid of things you don't want. You can delete them. You can change who can see them. And you can control privacy on every post, right? Best practices on Facebook posts. Understand what you want. Don't just say me, me, me. Everybody was listening. You've all heard this old saw about listening to the same radio station, WIFM, right? What's in it for me? And so your content has to be geared to what they're looking for and what they're interested in, and it can't just be all business. Look at visibility, likes, and comments on posts to see what's working and what's not. One of my bonus tips, it's not on a slide, is a program called Bitly, bit.ly. And there's many of them. It's a URL shortener, bit.ly. And I might have time to log into my Bitly account, but if I take a link, let's say the National Association of Realtors publishes an article about what's happening in the housing market, and I like that article, I can copy that URL and post it into Facebook, but then I only know if people are interested in it if they like, share, or comment. But I don't know if they clicked on it and read it. But if I take that URL and I go to bit.ly and I post it in there and they give me a URL shortener and I use that on Facebook, when I log into Bitly, it'll tell me exactly how many people clicked on that link. So what that allows me to do is to look at my posts and see which ones people are interacting with. If I don't do that, I don't know unless they like, share, or comment. And a lot of people may click on the link but not like, share, or comment. So I might be thinking that some of my Christmas humor is killer stuff, right? You know, that may be my impression, but when I look at my Bitly account, nobody's clicking through on it, all right? And so you want to look at, obviously you want to check likes, comments, and shares, but bit.ly, there's a bunch of them. I know Google has their own URL shortener, but they won't tell you how many people clicked on it, right? Bitly will keep a track of all of your posts and who, how many, when, what am I trying to say? What IP address they were, so you can tell if they were local people or people international. It'll give you all that good stuff. Facebook action buttons, if you want to dress up your posts, there's magic updates. If you go to Facebook and you type in magic updates, haven't you ever wanted to see a post that had a dislike button? You know, right, you know, Stanford beats USC. I want the dislike button, right? And you can put in a dislike button on your posts. It's a way of adding fun things that make your posts stand out. That's another free tip. You want to post updates frequently, but that means like every other day. Use links, photos, and video. Be fun and resourceful. You should do something when anybody has a birthday. You should say happy birthday. You can make a little video. You can share funny birthday videos. You can send cards and things like that, photos. You should promote it offline. You should get a custom username. This is for you should get a Facebook fan page, and you can have your own custom username so that you could put it on your email signature, business cards, websites, newsletters, emails, and things like that, so that put it on your car signs, your billboards, your stained glass windows, the flyers that you drop out of airplanes, right? All that stuff. You want to put your Facebook, we're talking about the business name. There are three things of Facebook. There's the profile. The profile is a personal thing. There are groups and there are business pages, also called fan pages, also just called pages now. They keep changing the name. The personal profile, according to Section 4.2 of the Facebook Statement of Rights and Responsibilities, you will not use your personal profile for your own commercial gain. I see real estate agents that have the name of their company in their personal profile name. Or they use the word realtor. The word realtor is a copyrighted designation of the National Association of Realtors. You're not supposed to use it in your Facebook name. You're not supposed to put your company name. You're not supposed to say Intero or Century 21 or Keller Williams in your name. You're not supposed to openly solicit business on your personal profile. Now, people say that means you can't tell people you're going to an open house. Yes, you can, because you're going to an open house. But if you run things, make posts that say, anybody thinking about buying a home, look at, I got a new video, give me another, right? Eventually, they'll get you. Now, I know of a lot of agents who get away with this because Facebook has 1 billion users, right? You understand, if it was a country, it would be the 4th largest country, and so they haven't gotten to those people yet. But you don't want to. I know of a loan agent who's been kicked off Facebook for violating the profile. You want to, this is a nice little chart that explains the difference. You want all of your direct solicitations to go on your page. And I'm going to log in and show you a little bit about this, but your page, you can log in either as your page or as you. So you log in as your page and you post stuff on your page. Then you log out of the page and you log in as you, and you go to your page and you like, share, or comment on your page's post. Now what that does is it takes what you posted on your page and it puts it into your news feed, and it goes out to the people that are on your friend lists. So can you have multiple user profiles on a fan page? Yes. On a group? Yes, but not on a profile. They only want you to have one profile. And if you create multiple profiles, they may not catch you. But if they catch you, they can delete your Facebook account. Search engine visibility. Notice for the page, the answer is yes. Things that you put on your Facebook page, especially in notes, not the wall posts, but in notes, is indexed and searched by Google. Tips for buying a home, tips for selling a home, how to short sale tips, buying an REO, any of that stuff, if you put it in the notes section of your business page, Google will index it and it will come up in search engines. Things that you post on a wall are not indexed. Posts on Twitter are indexed. Posts on Twitter are indexed by Google, but posts on Facebook and pages are not. You can message everybody that's on your group. You can measure. There's metrics that come with the page. I hope the point I'm trying to get at is you probably all need to have your own business page, right? And groups would be something you don't want to say, oh, I want to create a group for Mike Devlin real estate. Nobody's going to join that group, right? But hiking in Campbell, knitting, things that you're actually interested in, join those groups, meet people. Have you ever heard this being told to real estate agents? Join groups, meet people, interact. The Facebook group, that's just an example of one for a different association of realtors. But pages are best for business. You're limited to 5,000 friends. I know that sounds like a lot, but if you get rolling, it's not. But you can have an unlimited number of fans. You shouldn't expect to get a lot of them. Real estate agents notoriously do poorly on getting fans. I know why. I get them all the time from real estate agents. I've got like several hundred real estate agents as friends, and you'll see something that says Sally Smith likes Sally Smith real estate and thinks you should like it too, right? Isn't it? Because when they created the page, how many of you get things like that, right? How many people do you even click on those and like it? Nobody does, right? How about this? Very few people do. Why do people like pages? There's only two reasons. One is to get unique content. And there is a way that you can set this up so that if somebody likes your page, a tab will appear that they could not otherwise see, right? And so you could say instant access to home buying tips like the page. Instant access like the page. Your page, by the way, can have opt-in forms using a program called MailChimp, Aweber, or Wufoo, or where you can have I want to sign up for a newsletter, I want to, right? But the idea really of having a page is to get people from your page to your real website, right? That's really the idea. What else was I going to say about pages? People aren't going to become fans of your page in good numbers, right? But that's why you have to mention things that are on your page and get it into your news stream. If it's not in your news feed, people are not going to really see it. And you get metrics that show, assuming you've got people. Good content, tips and trick, removing the, I think that I'm going to go to lists. Why don't I do this? Let me go. You've all got copies of these handouts. I want to spend some time. By the way, seemylistings.com is an app sponsored by the National Association of Realtors. There's a bunch of them that'll put your listings on your business page. Let's go, and I have a list of a daily engagement plan. Inviting and updating your status, birthday wishes, comments, but the point I really want to make is you need to spend time every day liking, sharing, and commenting on other people's posts, right? That should be most of your time. You don't have to be posting all the time, but you need to interact with people that are already posting. Twitter, you can build relationships with Twitter, drive traffic to your blog, market your brand, answer questions, seek out industry colleagues, understand social media marketing. In my Twitter account, I receive tweets from a bunch of industry sources. Duct Tape Marketing, the National Association of Realtors, the California Association of Realtors. And when I log into my Twitter stream, even if I'm not using it that day to push my message out, I'm getting a stream of useful information that I can then, of links and videos and post content that I can put on my Facebook page. Why use it for fun? It's hard to gin the system. If you don't like Twitter and you don't learn to use Twitter, you're not going to get any business from Twitter, right? You have to be a twit in order to get business from Twitter. You have to tweet. You have to get into it. And that doesn't mean, what you're having for breakfast. People take a picture of their breakfast and that's not what I mean. But you need to get information from Twitter. You need to follow some interesting people, and you need to start putting out some interesting information. And it's a little bit different. And I have some lists of some sample things to tweet, text what you're doing, images, videos. You can share videos of even on for virtual tours, client testimonials, birthday greetings. That's for they call them tweeple, the tweeple that you interact with. Blog posts, witty comments or jokes, industry resources, RSS reader. I'm going to get to that in a little bit. Inspirational quotes, announcements, ask questions, music, coupons. And I have some general rules of engagement where you ought to be yourself, be a listener. You need to flesh out your Twitter profile. You need to probably customize it. If you Google search free Twitter backgrounds, right, you're going to find hundreds of them that you can use. And again, you don't want it to say the name of your company. You don't want it to say that you're a realtor, right? You can say in the explanation of who you are that you're in the real estate business, but making it part of your name is not, again, think of going to the party wearing your company outfit with your name badge and flyers in your hand. And so those are just, I'm not going to go through all of these, but a lot of these are self-explanatory. What I wanted to do, and before, I wanted to show how I use some of these things. And one of the first things I want to do, this is one of my best tips, and I need to sign in. All right. This is probably this is worth the price of the seminar. How much? Oh, never mind. I'm not sure about that. So I want to go to my iGoogle. And one of the things that you might want to do, if you haven't done it, is to trick out your iGoogle. I like this little thing which has a list of all my Google services. Notice Google Plus is right up here. We'll get to that in a moment. Google Reader, the first thing I'm going to do is go to Google Alerts. And what I get to do with Google Alerts is I can make a list of, is now a good time to buy a house? Is now a good time to sell a house? The real estate market in San Jose. Home buying tips, home selling tips. Let's just, it takes a while for it to kick in. I'll show you mine. But how about this? Home selling tips, okay? So what I do, I want everything if you leave it by default, it's going to email it to me. I use an RSS, I use Google Reader. So I'm going to click feed and I'm going to say create the alert. Now here are some of the few alerts that I've created. All right. And now this sometimes freaks people out when they see this, but I just want you to know that I haven't gone through my reader in a day, and I have overdone this. All right. But when I go to my reader, I know it's going to be ridiculous. People go, oh my God, 594. All right. Now let's just say general real estate. So here are all of the articles that have come in through my reader. Bay Area sees drop in high-end home sales. All right. Top 10 U.S. home hotspots for home buyers. November foreclosure activity hints at rising tide. California brokerage fences above. So if I look through these, and let's say, what would you do with 2+ acres? Even home sales data is bogus, realtors say. And there, see, I don't spend a lot. I look through the quicker. 15 tips for living green. All right, let's pick that one. Now, notice what it does in my reader. This +1, if you see that, what you're doing is you're basically voting for somebody's site in Google+. Right? So, and Google, by the way, if you have a site and people are plussing your site, it increases your search engine rankings. Oh, right. This is another reason for Google Plus is that people do use Google search, and guess what? Google likes Google Plus. Now let's say I wanted to share this article in Google Plus. You see that button? All I have to do is click on this button, and it's going to go right to Google Plus. I'm going to just do it with that group. I could also email people. They want me to know if I want to sign up more people in Google Plus. I have just put that on Google Plus. All right. Now, if I click on it and it comes up, and this is currently unavailable. There we go. Carla Hill, I know her. So if I click on this, I use a program which isn't installed here because this isn't my browser, called Shareaholic. Shareaholic, just like it sounds. And it's available for Internet Explorer, Firefox, Chrome, and Safari. At least those I know. And what it allows you to do is to have your Facebook, your Gmail, everything. And when you right click, Shareaholic pops up, or it's a button up at the top depending on which browser. So I could email this article to somebody. I could post it on Facebook. I could send it to Twitter, right? I can do all that with a click and a click and a click. Right, and if you go down to the bottom, and like Realty Times doesn't have a lot of easy links at the bottom, they have the share buttons down here. A lot of times that messes it up, and it's used, it self-promotes Realty Times more than it does, and it doesn't always look so good. The other thing that you're going to find is that copying the URL and then putting it into Bitly and getting a URL shortener so that you can track how many people read your article, because now you can figure out if they care about green living or not, right? That's another step and better. And then directly posting it into Facebook works better because it'll let you pick which thumbnail you want for the post, or none. If you use these share buttons or if you use the share buttons at the bottom, they're going to pick a picture for you, and it might be an ad on the side, right? But if you use Shareaholic, you can pick the thumbnail, but Shareaholic doesn't give you the URL shortener that tracks clicks, right? bit.ly. So you see how easy that was, right? And so I go through here and I have things about local news, marketing, realtor stuff, general news, social bookmarking, social media. People say, well, where do you get all this stuff? Right? You understand? If you create the right alerts, all I have to do is scroll through it in the morning, and I see all of these articles. I just go through them quickly to find something that looks like it's going to be useful. I open it up, I post it, and I'm off and running. All right, now let's do, where's Facebook? Facebook. Okay, I want to cover the Facebook timeline. I've already updated my timeline, but there's two things that are going on here. Over here in the far right is the ticker, which a lot of people hate. I love it. And what I've done is I've liked a whole bunch of different sites that provide information on real estate, funny pictures, funny quotes, sayings, all sorts of weird stuff. And it's hard for me to read it, but if all I have to do is scroll through, what was that one say? Positive Outlook, right? That's sort of a positive one, and it'll pop up what it looks like. And all I have to do is go over here and click on share. And now it's going to pop up and it's going to ask me, who do I want to share it with? This is really important because I've created lists. And this is something I'm going to let everybody see. So I'm going to click on public and I'm going to hit share photo. Now that's now been added on my timeline. I can keep scrolling, right? I have an unlimited supply of, stuff to put on Facebook. And I have lists. All right, real estate is a list. So this is one of the biggest things. If I click on this, these are all the people that I've got that are on my real estate list. If I do a status update from here, it's only going to people that are on my real estate list. And my real estate list is really aimed at real estate agents. I have 610 people on this list. And so if it's something that's, so the biggest comment I get from people about Facebook is, well, I don't know, I don't want pictures of my nephew's wedding and, my clients, and I don't, you have to create different lists. You have a list for your family, you have a list for real friends, right? You can have a list for buyers, a list for sellers, a list for past clients. You could have, people can be on more than one list. All right, and so when this takes a little more time, but I can post something to a specific list, and then the other people do not see it, right? And I actually had a real estate agent, he did a post on Facebook about, is Uncle Lou getting out of prison yet? That was the question he was asking somebody who had made a post. I'm not kidding, right? Because they were going back and forth and they had forgotten that they were having a public conversation about Uncle Lou's parole, right? Now, you understand that's messaging, which is up here. Right, and by the way, you have two inboxes. So one of the things you need to do is, you see where it says other, sometimes they stick other messages there which you may not have known about, right? But this is where all the messages are, and these are all the different people that I've got messages with from, and remember, people want to communicate with messages. All right, let's look at the timeline. If yours doesn't look like this, it soon should. That's my real picture. I'm from Santa Cruz. And what I do is I change my profile picture. I had a whole bunch of pumpkin carving ones. And this, it doesn't, is a cover picture which I uploaded, which is Silicon Valley at night. And so what you want to do, by the way, when you want to put up a cover picture, and you can pick a picture that you already have on Facebook or any other picture. They don't want it to be a promotion, right? It shouldn't be a for sale sign, call me, best agent in the world, sell your home cheap, rebates to all buyers. They'll get you for doing stuff like that, right? So one of the things you want to do, the first thing you want to do is you want to upload your cover picture. And then also you want to this is your profile, which you can if you click on update information, you can update it. And one of the questions that sometimes I get, it says, for example, mine, it says career counselor Keller Williams Realty Silicon Valley. If somebody clicks on that, it takes them to the company's generic website. Let's say you created a business page for yourself. Mike Devlin, career, whatever, specialist, and you do that first, and then when you say, where do you work, you pick that business page. So when people click on it, it takes them not to the general company website. I mean, it's not a bad website, but that's not where you want them to go, right? It'll go right to your business page. That, by the way, is also worth that tip, the cost of the seminar, isn't it? Maybe double, right? And that way, maybe triple. So this is where here's are your friends. I have 879. If I click on this, it's going to show me all these different friends. And what I can do is I can take a look at a friend, and if I click on them, I can change what list they're on. I can change what they see. The biggest tip for getting stuff out of Facebook is to learn to create and manage your friend lists. Whenever you make a friend with somebody, you can, and maybe I'll show you how to do that. We go back, well, I'll do that maybe if we're running out of time. But you understand, you want to create lists, you want to post to people based on the lists, and you can control what people see. Where there are certain things about your profile, if you go up to home and down to privacy settings, you can control who sees what on your profile. What we're looking at now, what you're looking at now, you're not supposed to see. This is only what I see, right? This is my view, right? Because sometimes people say, oh my God, look at that. You can change this. You get to see everything, but you can, through privacy settings, change what other people get to say. Here are photos, maps of places where I've been, things that I've liked. I only got 350 notes that I've made, subscribers, subscriptions. That's all there. Now, I can also do posts from here. Now, I found that it's easier for me to go to my main page and click on the list that I want and then post to that list. But from here, I can do a post and I could pick down from the list who I want it to go to. I can add life events, things that I think are important about me that I want people to know that aren't involving a post or something. If I click on this, it'll give me some examples, right? Travel experiences, and you can look at all these different things. You could spend some time. Ever wanted to have an online resume, right? This could be one. Let's go back here. Back here. All right. So life events, places, and what I can do is I can go through this. I'll use this one as an example. So you see there's a star. It's a two-column layout, but I can make things go all the way across. In other words, I can feature it on my timeline. If I click on this, it's going to feature it on the timeline. Notice it made it much bigger, right? If I decide I don't want it to be featured, I click on it, and now it's back to half size. So I can determine what it's going to look like. I also can go up here where the pencil icon is, and I can edit or remove it. All right, there aren't a lot of things I can do to change it, but I can hide it, I can delete it, I can tell Facebook I'm spamming, right? So, and you can go back and add, you should look at your timeline. Remember, I know it was like 2 hours ago when I started, something like that, and I had a list of, it wasn't quite that long, but I had a list of things to do and for your timeline, and one of them was to go through and take a look at it and see which posts you want to highlight, which ones you only want certain people to see, which ones you want to hide. All right, how are we doing? Let me do one last thing, because otherwise, people, Google Plus. Your brother. That's nice. I need an updated browser for Google Plus. Well, isn't that nice? Is it going to let me do this? Let me try. It wants me to do the new Firefox. Let's see if we have Chrome. One of the things you're going to find, well, I didn't realize that you didn't have an updated Firefox or an updated, let me do a couple things about Google Plus. And because, first of all, you're going to find that Google Chrome works a whole lot better with Google Plus than other browsers. Right? I happen to like Chrome and I like to use Chrome, but I'm just telling you. Now, let's see if it lets me do this. Save file. Downloads complete. Yeah, give me an example. I've used Google Chrome with car forms and the MLS. and I don't know if it's downloaded it yet or not. Let's see. All right. It may not let me run this, but there's two websites that you need to, well, maybe I will be able to do this. One website, I might as well give this to you now. You might want to, you have to write this down, gplus.to. Gplus, gplus.to. All right. Now, the reason why we're doing this is that you're going to see in Google Plus, Google has assigned you an ID, which is like 50 numbers. Not quite 50, but more than 10. It's a long stream of numbers. So what's happening? Oh, Google Chrome, it's happening over here. All right. It's still installing. So it makes it very difficult to tell somebody what your Google Plus account is. You can have a link to it. You can send it to them. You can put it on a web page. You can put it on your Facebook page, but it's impossible to say, oh, my Google Plus is. What this does is I copied and pasted my Google Plus ID in here, and I have Mike Devlin and I have Michael Devlin, so you can't take it. And so all I have to do is tell somebody to go, you go to gplus.to/Mike Devlin. And they go right to it. That's just, it's not the most important thing, but it's I don't know why it's wanting to do that. All right. And Chrome is installing. The other thing that I would say that you want to do about Google Plus is, and if you can Google search this, but my Facebook feed is in Google Plus. And I have a browser extension. It works with Google Chrome and it works with Firefox. And what it'll do is I do Facebook out of Google Plus. Let me, hopefully we can get into Google Plus now. And by the way, I just want to say before everybody drops off, how many people do we still have there? 13, wow, good. Next year, which means in a few weeks, I'm going to be doing a series of seminars on each of these different things that are in more detail, right? I mean, because you notice we've going fast, right? But we'll spend like an hour and a half on Google Plus and an hour and a half on Twitter and an hour and a half. We're going to do LinkedIn, even though most people won't pay, but also YouTube, which is more than just watching videos. All right. So I'm shocked that I can't get into Google Plus. Just shocked. Yes. No, this is a URL forwarding system, and so it allows me to forward it to as many places as I want to. So I just took Michael Devlin just to frustrate some other Michael Devlin someplace. All right, that's all. So all right, and everybody that's participated is going to be sent a notice of when I'm going to do these things, right? But there'll be 5 of them. And it'll be more about, actually, we'll build a business page. There's programs like PageModo and Tab Site and other programs that you can get that'll help you build a page, and we're going to go through that. I can't do them all now, but I think I've covered the gist of, yes. How long do you spend every day on this? Well, it all depends on what you mean. If you're talking about how long do I spend that is actually involved in the real estate marketing part rather than just playing around, you can do this in like 15 minutes a day. See, once you get the alert set up so that when you go to the reader, everything is just there. How long did it take me to put that article on Google Plus? Not very long. Yes, but and I have Google Alerts set for that. And I have a different blog. And integrating these things is something we'll talk about. But Okay, well, let's talk about Google Plus. The first thing about Google Plus, we're logged into Google Plus. Remember that article about the 15 tips for green? There it is. Here are some of my, this is the home. These are photos. That's my profile. This is the first thing you want to click on, profile. Now, first of all, there's pictures. Hopefully yours are more attractive than mine. But what you want to do, notice it says edit profile. You're going to want to click on that. Now, if you look at what I've done, if you search, now there are people with my same name who are not, not necessarily good. All right. But if I say San Jose, so we skip look what comes up first. All right. Notice that picture. Mike Devlin on Twitter. Look at this. It comes up on the top of the page. Mike Devlin, Google profile. So I can't control what you say about me, but I can control this stuff, right? And if you don't have a Google profile, what most real estate agents want to do is claim their office as their Google page, right? And that's not going to work. Google will get you, right? Only one person can have one place at any one time, and it's not the salesperson, and eventually they're going to take them all away, right? They've already begun doing this because a place is supposed to be a brick and mortar place, right? You're not a place, right? You're a person, and a person is a profile, right? Now, people are getting away with it. I know that, but it just is a matter of time before Google comes in and takes it away. But so what you really want to do is to trick out your profile so that when people Google search your name, you look at, I control. This one, by the way, is also me, right? Look what comes up, right? And these first three that come up are Twitter accounts that I have and my own Google profile. So look at what I've done on my profile. First of all, I have a link to my, it looks like that one I messed up a little bit. I have to edit it. Let me edit it. I did that. I changed that last night. So if I click on edit and I click here, and then what this should say is, by the way, I teach classes for people to get a real estate license. So if you know anybody who's interested in a rewarding, exciting career in real estate and they need to get their license, right? So I'm just going to copy that. Nobody's volunteering. So what we do is, and this is one of the most useful things, I click on link and all right. So this is www.kwrealestateschool.com, and I'll leave it. I can make the text something else. You can test the link just to make sure it's real. That's always a good thing to do. That looks like my website. So I click on OK. So now I have a hyperlink in my profile to my webpage. How's that? Notice, get a free ebook, How to Get a California Real Estate License. Huh? Right? And if somebody I'm in the edit mode, if they click on that, my WooFoo form pops up and they have to give me their name and their email address, and I send them a link to my free ebook. I'm using this for lead generation. Okay, and then you can have your background and you can write more, and you see there's a lot of things that you can do with this. You want to complete your profile, even if you don't want to ever use Google Plus, right? Because it's just too much and you got too much to do. You want to log into Google and fix your profile because it's going to come up when people Google your name. And you might want to put links to your website, free reports, things to get them to opt in so that you can do something with it. All right, so I'm done editing, and this is the home, and it has the different groups I've created, and it has things that have been, it looks a lot like the Facebook thing, right? I can comment, I can hang out, I can share. These are photos. This is the big one. Oops, right here, circles. And so here are the different people, and I've got some circles and people in them. You notice when I highlighted it pops up. I could create one for realtors, for affiliates, for past customers, for buyers, for sellers. And one of the things that I've learned that's another free tip, right? If I click on people who've added you, these are people that have added me to one of their circles. And if I go over here and I click on, oops, I'm missing it, and I click on not yet in circles, what it's going to do is it's giving me a list of the people that have added me in their circles that I haven't put in a circle yet. So let's say Sandra, who's now moved to Hawaii, I want her to go into acquaintances. I just pull her over and drop her in, and she's now in that circle. Yes, Martha, you're there too. I saved this just so you could see me doing it. All right. And then there's games and stuff like that. But the other thing you might want to do is a page, a business page. If we scroll down over here, where is it? Create a Google Plus page. We click on that. And this is going to look a lot like creating a page for Facebook. Is it a local business or place, product or a brand, company or institution, arts or entertainment, other? So we might, companies, organizations, institutions, local business, real estate agents always want to go with that. You put in your phone number, you locate it, they're going to want to try and look it up by your phone number. Sometimes the product or brand works better because they don't try to tie you down to a physical location and a special phone number. And this isn't very complicated, right? I'm not going to go through, but this is, you ought to have one of these, right? I'm just saying. And the other thing I want to do with Google Plus, let me go back up here. This is the page Hangouts. Remember we talked about that? That was like 3 hours ago, right? If I click on start a Hangout, this is where I can do a video chat with up to 10 people about something, right? I could do a mini home buyer seminar. I know about you, the last home buyer seminar I did didn't have 10 people, you know. I mean, sometimes I've had 20 people, but you could do something with this, and you have to install a plugin, so I'm not going to do that. They also integrate your Gmail account, your Gmail chat, and everything. And you can't see my Facebook stuff because I haven't installed the plugin on this browser, but what happens when you install the Facebook plugin, and if you were to just click on, if you just go to Google search, oops, and you click on Google Plus Facebook extension, how about that? And it's CrossWriter is the one. And if you click on it, it'll install this extension into your browser. And what that will do is it'll add a little button here, which is the Facebook F. And if I click on it, I see all my Facebook stuff. So I'm not bouncing back and forth. I can do, because you see, I also can send email out of here. I can chat with people. I can send text messages. For those of you who don't like to type in with your thumbs, you know, you're like me, you got like sausage fingers, you know, get a Google Voice account. You can get a 408 number. I use that for my main number, and what I tell Google Voice to do is that if I'm online, I'll answer it. If I'm not online, it'll forward it to my cell phone. I can answer it. If I don't answer it, it leaves a message with Google Voice. They transcribe it and email it to me. And I can chat with people from my Google Voice. So it means on a computer with a real screen, I can send somebody's cell phone a text message. And they can respond, and I can respond, and I can respond, and go back and forth. So I don't have to be texting people using thumbs on a little tiny handheld device. That was also a free tip. I thought I would go. So are there any questions that you have right now, other than why didn't I cover more stuff? Yes. The first thing you should do is to fix your Facebook profile, because that's the big, you know, gorilla. And right now, according to the news that came out through you see how I get all this stuff. Today, Facebook is forcing everybody to move to that new look with the timeline. And that means you got to think about a cover picture. You can change your mind later. It could be something fun, like a Christmassy one now would be good. You could have a new, you understand? You can make it look nice, and you want to look through you want to get your Facebook profile all fixed up, right? And then the second thing would be to have a Facebook page. And then the rest of the stuff, if you need to sign up for Twitter, then after that, that's the big one, a business page, right? A fan page, yes. They change the names all the time. They're now called, I think they're just called pages, right? Right. That's a fan page. And so, um, and boy, what do I have here? Pages, and I can, so I don't know if you saw, I went to create a page. And I have a one for real estate licensing. And you click on create a page and you go through that. And the nice thing is that the page it becomes an entity. So you can post as your page. And then you can log in as you and make comments on your own posts and share your own posts from your page. Otherwise, people aren't going to go to your page, right? Because there's not a lot of interesting stuff there. And most of the time, they've done studies of this. When people like a page, they don't do anything anymore with it. They never go back. And just so this may be something you don't know about the Facebook timeline, let me just click on this one. If not everything is here. So not everybody, I've got 610 real estate agents. I don't see all their stuff. All of the stuff is going by on this ticker. And this ticker is sort of like a Twitter feed. In order for me to see the stuff, I have to click on their name and go to them and say I want to see all their stuff. But Facebook has an algorithm. If you saw the movie The Social Network, there was a scene where the guy playing Mark Zuckerberg is writing with a pen on a window these equations. I thought this was about pictures and posts. That was the algorithm that they use to determine what shows up in your newsfeed. So Facebook is screening what you see. And if you do not read, if you do not click on somebody's post, if you don't like, share, comment, or click on it, if you don't do that, they eventually disappear from your main feed. Now you can go into your friends. Remember when we were in the timeline, oops, let me go back. You can go into the timeline and you can click on friends and you can pick one. Let me see, who do I want to pick on? How about I'll pick on Martha? I click on Martha and oops, back. Back. And what I can do, how about Leslie since she's here, is there are different lists here that I can put her on. And where's the other thing that I wanted to do? I'm trying to find where that is into my preferences. The point I'm trying to make is that if you don't interact with the people, you won't see their stuff. But it all goes here on this ticker, right? That it's all moving by. And so what I do is I make it a point, let's say somebody's a friend of mine, let's say a past client or something like that, and I make a point to click on their name every once in a while and read their stuff and click on some of the stuff. And then it comes into my news feed. So if you also need to know that if you don't post things that people click on, you eventually disappear. You think that when you're putting out to all your friends, they're all seeing it. They're not always seeing it, right? Because they haven't been clicking on it, right? All right, I'll show you. So I go over here and I click on this and I go to one of my pages, Pass the California Real Estate Exam. I am now logged in as Pass the California Real Estate Exam. All right, that's what I'm logged in as. And so if I went to something and this was about a career session I used to do, This is the keep internet, or let's say this is something I did through Ping, and I wanted to, if I wanted to like or comment, I'm now doing this as the page. But if I go back up here and I go back to myself, and I go here to, come on, come on. All right, I know. All right, so now I'm looking at the same page, but I'm looking it as me. And if I like, share, or comment, let's say I'm going to click share, what it's now going to do is it's going to pull up my post for the timeline, and now I could go down to real estate and I click on share a link, and what now happens is that in my personal timeline, that link to my page appears. The only way you're ever going to get good interaction is through friends and interacting with them. They're not going to like your page. Not very many will. They won't go to your page again. They're not going to go there and read things. And if they don't click on it, it'll disappear from their timeline. So that's why you have to comment on their stuff. Because if I comment on something you posted and you comment back, Facebook's algorithm says, they're real friends. And then you start seeing all my stuff, right? You understand? And another sneaky thing I can do is, let's say there's an article. You can't overdo this. Let's say there's an article that I think Martha never likes, shares, or comments on any of my stuff, but there's an article I think she would like. I can tag her. Now, she's not mentioned in the article, right? She's not mentioned in the article, but she's probably going to click on it, right? And as long as I don't do it to a point where it irritates her and she blocks me, right? Maybe it's something she really is. Now Facebook's algorithm says, Martha is interested in my stuff, and then my stuff starts to appear more in her newsfeed. Can you see why we could spend a whole class on just this, just Facebook posting, right? Because most people don't realize, 95% of the people do not have friends lists, and most people do not understand that they are not seeing everything in their newsfeed. They do not understand that. Everything is in the ticker, but not in the newsfeed. Yes. Yes, I have people on multiple lists. It's real easy to do. For example, let me pick, it's real easy to do. All you have to do is find a person. So let me pick, click on real estate. If Kelly, let's say, if I click on her, now what's happening is this pops up. See this thing here says friends? I click on this. I click on show all lists. All of the lists are here, and I can just add her to another list. And this is something, by the way, when you friend somebody, like for example, because I have so many friends, I keep getting, like how about this person? Cindy, how about this one? All right. So I click on her, and I can look and see why. Look at all these different people, right? And so let me see how do I know her? I can tell from this. Okay, I think I know why. So I click on add friend, and what I do, and if I mess it up, let's say I click on it and I messed it up, I can still go back here, and because sometimes it messes around. Yeah. I go back here, I click on all lists, I scroll down till I find the one for her, which is this one, and I click on it, and now it's sent a friend request to her, and it already knows what list I want her in. I'll put her in both lists. So people can be in multiple lists. So you don't have to send grandmother information about the housing market in San Jose. And you don't have to send your past clients pictures of your niece's wedding. Right. Right. So you see, by putting them in these different groups, this is the easiest thing to do. If I click on family, right, and I do an update status, only the people that are on my list family are going to see this. If I click on real estate and I post something, only the people that are on my real estate list are going to see it. That's the easiest way. I can do it through my timeline, but this is a lot easier, right? So you work the list, right? If you're starting the 15 minutes business, click on your business lists, do that, right? Now you're only posting on that list. Then click on family. Then you can click on real friends, right? And you can tell them, you can talk to them and do whatever you're doing. All right. Yes. That's okay. No, that's okay. The putting links to real estate on your personal wall is not a bad thing. It's openly soliciting business on your personal profile. So you can only do that through your page, but you do that through your page and then you comment on it or share it on your personal profile. That's okay. All right. That's okay. But people do it all the time. They promotions and movies and that's if they took all that stuff out of Facebook, they wouldn't need an algorithm anymore, right? Because they're you understand why they have the algorithm? Because you couldn't stand it if you saw everything, right? I mean that's why that was the thing that made it work was him. That's what he was writing on the window, the equation to determine what people see, right? But this is not known by most people. All right, well, um, I'm sorry I went short. And didn't cover very much. But what I want to, I'm going to be sending follow-ups to all the people that participated. In January, I'm going to be doing more sessions, right? And you all get invitations if you would like to learn more about social networking. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'm signing off.